sure is quiet. This is where the fight went down?
Yeah. But to look at it, you wouldn't think anything had happened here. Sawa-sensei? You there? It's Yagami.
What's up?
The door. It's unlocked.
Huh?
Sawa-sensei?
No! Wait, talk!
No way.
Oh, God.
Okay, that was really weird. I just ended up saving last night at a chapter like this, and all of a sudden it's giving me another save. Is it going right into another chapter? That is weird.
The school...
Okay, it wasn't going into another chapter, but it was still going to one of those sections where I had to go and save right before a next big scene kind of thing. So that was weird. It did it like one right after another.
Teacher Yokosawa is murdered in cold blood, and Yagami is torn with grief. Her death is merely collateral damage to Soma of RK. Soma's real prey is Kawana, who narrowly escapes his trap. It seems Kawana had buried his true identity among a host of other secrets. And to unearth them, Yagami crawls deeper down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. That's fine. I get it. You don't want us touching anything inside the room. Is it okay to wait for you inside, then? Some private investigators from Kamurocho. Yagami-san and Kaito-san. Yeah, I asked them to help us out with a case we were on a couple days ago. Yes, see you soon. They're coming. The cops are on their way.
All right.
She was murdered at the hands of Soma. Bastard. He lied when he said they had no business with her. Why did it have to be her? How did she get pulled into all this?
If it's answers you want, you gotta be a detective, Talk. We can see the kind of shit that normal people miss. We'll notice what they can't. For now, can you put aside the pain and do the work you need to do?
I think he's right.
First, let's narrow our focus. It's not about who or how she was murdered. What's more important here is to figure out the answer to the why. Let's consider her connections. We know one of them was to Kawana the handyman. Where that leads is that Soma's gang was after Kawana, and that's why they broke in.
In that case, the clues that we're after here are her personal relationships. There's our lead. Something that shows how a teacher could be connected to a guy like Kuwana.
Yeah. Except Kuwana's a fake name, just his alias. His real name was Kitakata. Soma gave us that. What the? Suspicious. Blood. Not a lot, though.
Yeah, looks like it.
What the?
Yagami-san, isn't that yearbook from when Sawa-sensei went to Kurokawa Academy? Wouldn't there be photos of people like Yui Mamiya and that bully Kawai in there?
Oh. Yeah, you're probably right.
Weird that there's so much blood around it. Maybe she was trying to leave us a clue.
What do you want to do? Take a peek inside? Kind of frowned on to mess with
Hey.
the murder scene, yeah?
If you're gonna look,
Hey,
make it
how
quick.
you doing?
The cops will be here any minute.
There's not enough time to check the whole thing.
I put out some hashtags because I started doing that now because I don't know why in the world I ever forgot to do that for my videos, because I noticed that Tanya is starting to get a lot more views too, and also getting more subscribers as well with her doing that. And I don't know why I never thought of that. I have no idea, even though it shows up clear as day that I could do that when I'm going and setting up the streams. Ravenous Sphincter. Yeah, there you go. Actually, Asian Ui has called me that a few times before, or he's called me Rantinous Sphincter, if you will. I don't know why the hashtags aren't showing up on there. Do you see anywhere on your end where they're popping up for hashtags? Because when I went to go check out Tanya's stream a couple days ago, it was showing up on there when I went to the live chat, and I don't know why it's not showing up on here now. I don't get it.
I'm gonna hang on to it for now. I'll turn it over to the police later. It's now or never. I won't get another chance to come back to this room.
You're gonna take it? Really?
That's
Is that even
weird.
legal?
Of course
I don't
not.
get it.
But fuck legal this time.
Those shady Kurokawa Academy graduates might be connected to Mikoshiba's murder. But we're the only ones with that lead right now. The cops could turn this place upside down and still miss that.
Good point. It's better off with us then. I feel like that's what Sawa-sensei wanted. It's now or never. Sugiura, we'll deal with the cops. You take the yearbook and get out of here.
I have to play the thief?
Play? Isn't that exactly what you fucking did back in Kamurocho?
Yeah, you
Gotta
did.
bring that up. Fine, fine, I'll do it.
Back in the first game. So how was your birthday? How did all that go down? Awesome. Good to know. Oh, happy day. Yeah, you're another year older. That's the way I look at it as. It's like that old saying. It's like, when every year you have a birthday, you're not getting older, you're leveling up. So I guess that's one way for me to look at it.
Uh-huh.
No taters? That's terrible. That's the most best part of a birthday is with the taters.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of surprised that in Japan, apparently they still have... There's a lot of tradition that they obviously haven't taken out of Japan itself, even until this day, but they still have where you can still sleep on the floor, like have beds on the floor instead of like having them up on a like a bed frame kind of thing. It's just that some of the ways that they design different apartments and houses is almost like the way that it was like back in feudal Japan, if you will, which I think is interesting to hang on to certain history and culture like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, sounds like Solid Snake. Well, Snake was kind of doing a little bit of his own investigating as well, so he's doing the same thing himself. I know I didn't stream anything this weekend because usually, at least the way that my days off are now, with me being off on weekends, obviously we go to church, which church was great again yesterday.
Uh-huh.
I hate when he does that though. It's just kind of irksome a bit, unless he were to find something. But I always catch up on YouTube videos quite a bit. I save them to my watch later list, and I watch a few during the week, and then I catch up on more during the weekend. So I just guess I didn't really feel like streaming too much this weekend. I was actually planning to stream some of Chernobyl Light today, but then I ended up seeing a review of it, and I don't know if this has already been patched out or something, but it kind of irked me a little bit. I've been playing the game ever since, and it's been getting better and better, and all of a sudden I saw a review today where this guy was like, yeah, when I hit like the 15-hour mark in the game, I couldn't go back and reload some of my saves, or like the 15 to 20 hour mark. He said the saves ended up getting corrupted, and then I had to start back over. And he said I was hoping it was going to be one of those games this year that I really would like, and he says I do. He said, but that's something that definitely needs to be fixed. He was saying, yeah, it doesn't seem like there's any problems like that with the PC version, because Agent 00E is he has it as well and played it and beat it and didn't mention of any problems. So it's a shame that that's even the case.
Suspicious.
I mean, I haven't had any problems like that, but...
Uh-huh. Smartphone. Could this be Sawa-sensei's?
But I don't want to run the risk of it as of right now.
Maybe some RK thugs barged in, took her phone, and threw it in here.
What do you want to do? Check her mail?
It just pops in.
Yeah,
that's funny. Your spider senses were activated, apparently. No, I was just talking about how I was planning to stream Chernobylite today, and like I said, everything has been getting much better as time has wore on, but the only problem is that I saw a review today of a guy who was playing it on the PS4 version, and I don't know if he was playing this before there was any patches or if it was after the fact. I don't know. That's why I think when patch notes come out, they need to be detailed, not like, oh, you need to go check our website to go see what's going on, like it's going to kill you to cut, copy, paste it to the freaking PS4 app or whatever it is for people to be able to see what your dag blasted patch notes are. So he ended up talking about, he ended up reading like the 15-hour to 20-hour mark. He had problems with his saves, like his saves were failing him and corrupting, and he had to start back over, and there was times when it would auto save like in a firefight, and then he'd have to reload from the firefight after he had died, and those times he tried to go back and reload other saves, and it wouldn't allow him to save again until about 30 minutes later, which is ridiculous, and so all that stuff. Yeah, that's why I was wondering if you may have ran into any problems dealing with something like that with the PC version, because I don't know if they've had problems like that on there or not. But then again, you know how it is. These reviewers, they go and get these games, and they'll get them before any of these other patches would come out. So they're telling their experience before anything like this is even coming out into the open. You know, which kind of makes me think. And the dude just released the review today. So even though he just released it today, I mean, did he get a copy before there was any patches or before it actually released or what? You know, you can never really tell about that kind of stuff. So they could have already fixed the problem and didn't have any other problems with it. You wouldn't really know it until you got in and started playing it yourself. So I just kind of, yeah, there's a hun a lot. He's basically agreeing with everything I'm saying, kind of just ignoring what I'm saying. That's shogging me for you. Your ears were itching me. Somebody was talking about you. Yeah, there you go. So I don't really know. I haven't had any problems like that, but I definitely don't want to run into them. So I just went back to streaming this today. Oh, and by the way, I called the tire place too that I talked to you about the balancing issue, and they told me to go ahead and bring it in, and I wouldn't be charged for it tomorrow. That's the only time I could get an appointment for it before work, like at 11 o'clock. So I'm going to go see if that's the issue, and they aren't going to charge me, and I'll get that all squared away. So thank goodness for that. That means I don't have to go back to Firestone to go and have them charge me $50 just to get the dag blasted thing balanced. If that's the case, you know. I already spent enough money on my car this weekend because it needed it. It ain't. I don't want to spend any more.
No good. It's got a pin. We don't have time to crack it now. The cops will be here soon.
So, we just gonna leave it here?
Yeah, unfortunately. But let's look around some more.
Hadn't heard anything like that, at least on the PC version. Yeah, I always hate that. If there's one bug that I really despise, it's that. It's file corruption bugs in games. That's one of those that really gets to me, man. And then it makes me not even want to go back and play the game, you know, like for a very, very long period of time. I mean, heck, it might come around where I may end up selling said game sometimes because it would have pissed me off so bad. Well, we're looking for the case of her death, and I don't think a smartphone would be the case of her death. But why in the world wouldn't it be anywhere around here, considering this is where she died?
Suspicious. What the?
Oh, well, we kind of knew that because he was
There's one visible wound here. What do you think, Kaito-san?
Sure is tiny. Think she was stabbed with some kind of long needle?
Yeah, it was shown on the phone
Nice
earlier
pick,
before that
looks
fight
like.
happened.
Soma was holding one up to her.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what happened, dude. If you can see that there and you don't see it happening anywhere else, I'm probably sure that that's the case, but whatever. Yeah, I was glad to hear that, because he's like, because I told him all about it, and he said, I'm really sorry to hear that. He said, yeah, we balance them here, and he said, well, just go ahead and bring it on in, because I didn't have anything for today, so I couldn't do it today, and I said, was there going to be a charge? He's like, no, won't be any charge, and I'm like, okay, you know, so. I'm really sorry about that. Go back in there and get you another package. Sorry, I was thinking about a Rodney Carrington joke. You could take something back to Walmart over a year and and still get your money back. I bought these diapers and they already had shit in them. I'm really sorry about that. Go back there and get you another package. Oh boy. Well, I pretty much had looked everywhere else that there was scanning, so there isn't anything extra for me to pick up for any extra experience points for me to add towards any skills. So I guess it's pretty much done with when it comes to that.
I see. So, Hotshot, according to you, the guy who killed Sawa-sensei was...
Kazuki Soma. He's the leader of a bunch of thugs in Kamurocho known as RK.
Yeah? Well, great. Case closed.
And what's your take on the murder scene, Nabe-san?
Tone it down, buddy.
Nipple-san?
Remember who's got the badge here.
There are footprints of several different men who have been in Sawa-sensei's room. That includes yours, by the way.
I really should have ended up streaming that part last night. I really should have, but oh well, that's life.
We'll be analyzing these footprints first, and we'll check any security footage in the surrounding area. We'll ask around for eyewitnesses and narrow down our suspects. And we'll look into RK too, of course. Appreciate your help with that, Detective Yagami.
I just saw the coroner walk in. You saw the body too, right?
Yeah, just to get a rough idea. The body will be taken in for an autopsy.
Does your rough idea include the cause and time of death?
Cause of death, a single stab from behind into the nape of the neck with a weapon similar to an ice pick. As for the time, we're estimating she's been dead for about 3 hours.
3 hours?
Oh yeah, that would definitely, that would definitely make a lot of sense. I'll do that to double check and make sure, because I think whenever I check the patch notes on here, at least for this particular game, it's talked about like bugs and fixes. I'm just like, what are the freaking bugs and fixes? It could be anything. So, but yeah, I'll have to look into that myself. Such a shame with gaming nowadays with some games where it's like even before you play it, you gotta go and do a daggum treasure hunt just to make sure everything is working properly with certain titles, as irksome as it can possibly be. And that's another reason why I'm a retro collector.
That means it must have been right after I saw her on my phone. Nabe-san.
Not to mention, yeah, of course, there's been retro games that, if they were put out in today's age, yeah, they could definitely use some more work. But regardless of that, it's not a case of, oh my gosh, my daggum save got corrupted and I gotta start back over again.
The police need to get a warrant for Soma.
We're asking HQ about him as we speak. We need at least a damn mugshot for a warrant.
Then isn't it time to hit the street and get in some thug faces? Assume any face you don't recognize from RK.
I get how you feel, man, but pull it together. Actually, I'm curious about that Kuwana fella, too. He's lived in Ijincho forever. Why were Kamurocho thugs after him? And now I hear Kuwana isn't even his real name? He and Sawa-sensei were connected, but how?
I'm looking for those same answers myself.
So you know jack shit about anything important. Then you can go on home. And just make sure we can reach you.
Sure about this, Nabe-san?
Yeah. Assholes like him work better on a loose leash.
Foul mouth as fuck, but not bad, Pops.
What now?
Nabe-san, aren't you gonna ask me about Ihara? You know I want to see him in prison.
That's a good tactic.
That.
You saw the video of Ihara killing Miko Shiba, didn't you? I was coming to talk to Sawa-sensei about it.
Your point?
I think there may have been a link between what happened to Sawa-sensei and Miko Shiba's murder. In which case, wouldn't you want to pump Ihara for information? Why aren't you jumping on that?
We got orders from the top that Ihara's off limits. Forever. They said if we want to try to peg him as Miko Shiba's killer, we'd have to completely flip the guilty verdict on his harassment case. Not exactly the kind of shit a beat cop can pull off. Besides, nobody seems to want to investigate the Miko Shiba murder. Not us, not HQ, not even the prosecution.
So cops get to just quit working an investigation because they don't feel like it?
If there was even a hope we could close it, every cop here would be all over it. Everyone knows Ehara stinks to high hell, and they still won't let us touch the goddamn thing. It's above our pay grade. Bury the case so deep it never sees the light of day.
Yeah, feels like Sawa-sensei's case is about to get the same treatment.
Hey, I told you to watch it, buddy.
Save the dirty looks for your superiors. They're the bastards so desperate to sweep this under the rug.
Hell do you?
Cool it, Sakurai.
Yeah, that was a crazy fight that happened last night in the game, like right after I'd quit playing last night since it was getting late. Man, it was awesome, but it kind of seemed like it was like, you know, some of the other fights, but with more guys, but there was like a couple little awesome cutscenes that ended up happening while I was fighting with like the main guy.
I know this is
really
all
fighting.
very sudden. We don't have many details yet. And as you've heard, the police are working to find answers as we speak. Sawa-sensei, well, she got mixed up in some sort of incident. This may attract press to the school, and some of them may even wish to speak to you, but please, do your best to ignore them. Again, we don't have all of the facts, and it's not for all of you to, well, none of you are under any obligation to speak to them, so please, don't. All that I can ask, for now, spare a prayer for Sawa-sensei, please, if you can. Please. Please.
Okay. We better get everyone back to class. Starting with the third years.
Excuse me, Yagami-san? If you don't mind, Chairman Okuda said he'd like to speak with you if you would be on campus today. It's about Sawa-sensei.
Yeah, I can do that. Will he be in his office?
You know, one thing I find interesting about when it comes to the Japanese is like they always have these other things that they'll say after somebody's name, and it really, I think it has to really deal with like certain rank and file, if you will, like especially if you're a teacher, you know, sensei's obviously teacher, or if you're referring to somebody of a older or younger age than you are, different things like that I've heard about. I always thought that was kind of unique how it seemed like that would happen when addressing certain people.
Yes. Thank you for everything, sir.
There's more to it behind that, but regardless, I always found it interesting.
Yagami-san,
Oh. Hey.
I still can't believe what happened to Sawa-sensei.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll check that out. Whenever I finish the stream, I'll give it a shot and see what's up. Thank you kindly.
I know.
Do you know anything about it?
I saw the scene of the crime. I was the first one to find her.
What?
The killer's still on the loose, but I know who it is.
Is there any way I can help? Maybe you could share some details about the case.
No, not this time. This one's too dangerous. I'm not gonna get you involved.
But...
Just leave Sawa-sensei's case to me. Don't you have your own cases to solve?
Yagami-san... Okay.
Listen, You're a brilliant kid. You can't afford to let this throw you off your game, right?
Yes, you're absolutely right. If I let that happen, it'll damage the MRC's credibility.
Exactly. So here's what I'm thinking, Amasela. Let's just carry on like normal. And please spread the word to the rest of the MRC. That'd help me out a bunch.
Yes, I can do that.
So random thought here real quick. I ended up getting this lava lamp for $5 a couple weeks ago at 5 and Below. Because I like lava lamps. You know, they're just unique to look at and relaxing and whatnot. Brings a certain ambiance or whatever to a room. And it works fine. Everything's cool with it. I like it. The only thing that I have with it, though, I may go back there again and get like the other two colors that they had. Because they had, like, you know, like different colored wax on the inside and also different colored the way that they look in general. But there's a white wax that's inside of this thing, and anytime it heats up and it gets to moving and the wax starts moving around in there, I'm not trying to sound disgusting, but it looks like it's a bunch of cum bubbles so moving around inside of the lava lamp. It's just like, you know how lava lamps look, you know how they move and whatnot, but the way that it looks and how it fluctuates and moves and all that stuff, it either looks like that or it just looks like huge balls of snot that's moving around inside this thing. And I'm like, man, I've seen lava lamps before that didn't look like that. Why is there so many bubbles inside of this thing? And I'm thinking, well, I did get it for $5, so even though it works like it should, it almost looked like it's some type of like snot alien or something moving around inside of it. And it takes a while to heat up, too, to really get to moving. Some of them are like that, and some of them aren't. I mean, of course, you have to leave them on for a bit so it'll melt the wax and get it moving, but this one seems like it takes quite a while. It works, but it just seems like it takes quite a while. Because I've got another one, a larger one that I got for like $3 and change or something at Goodwill, I think about a year ago or a year and a half ago, something like that. And obviously I would still be using that one, but there's a short in the wire, so I need to see if there's some way I can get that fixed so I can utilize that more. Don't know how that even occurred to me. I guess I really should have said snot first and foremost is what I should have meant, but it was just it was weird when I was looking at it the first day that I got it. I was like, what the hell? Oh my gosh, I got over 51,000 experience points. I'll just go ahead and boost up all of these. I know I got to get that one on the next go through, but we'll do that later, obviously. I don't think there's anything else for me to necessarily look into. I usually just try to run through enemies anyways as it is. Somebody been snorkeling at the Blue Oyster Bar? Nope. Definitely not that, that's for sure. Good grief. There's an analogy for you if there ever was one. But I had been thinking about getting the couple other ones. I think like the other two have a couple different colored waxes in them. The only reason that I got this one is because it was blue with the white in it, but they also have like a pink and white, and I think they have like a pink and blue as well. I don't know if that dealt with the wax or if it dealt with the overall shell that it was in. Excuse me. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm aware of that. But, well, this is just the school itself, so I'll just go ahead and go with the next leg of the main story before I bother with any other related side stuff at this point in time. Well, some of the stuff that I was playing yesterday I really wanted to have on the stream because it's just weird, I think, to have it on there. It was those dancing mini games because you're trying to figure out this mystery that's going on with the dance club at the school. So you have Yagami going and mixing kung fu in with dancing, and it's just weird. But I have it on like on very, very easy mode, so I'm just pressing like the same button over and over and over whenever it pops up for me to be able to get the dance moves just right, you know, because I want to get through this fast, but I still want to know what the story is and the characters behind it and all that stuff. They got a bunch of stuff in this game that they just threw in a lot, and I'm just like, holy crap, man. Although this type of series has always been that way with the Yakuza series, and also with obviously the Judgment series now too, where they have a whole lot of side stuff on top of the already lengthy main campaign.
Sure, no problem.
Have a seat if you would. In that detective's report, Sawa-sensei was... well, it said you were the one who found her body.
That's right.
You had been concerned for Sawa-sensei's safety before the incident. You're able to see things I can't. You have something of a gift for that, Yagami-san.
I wish I could agree with that. But I'm overlooking details. I'm letting too much slip away. And quite frankly, there's still a lot that I haven't figured out yet either.
Like what? May I have an example?
There's this local handyman.
Yeah, there you go. You might as well go ahead and say that.
Kawana is the name he goes by in the city. Right before it happened, I ran into him in front of Sawa-sensei's apartment. There's no way it was a coincidence.
So, you think he could be the culprit?
Actually, I don't think so. Not really. That said, Kawana has something to do with all this. Sawa-sensei may have gotten caught up in his mess. In fact, Kawana is just an alias he uses, and he's being hunted by these thugs from Kamurocho. They're a gang called RK, and it's weird, but they've been looking for this punk named Kawai. And Kawai's connected to it too. Sawa-sensei went to the same school as him 13 years ago.
Wow, these details are flying so far over my head. Your investigation has gone well beyond what I can comprehend, and it's left me in the dust. But I just can't do this anymore. Between my own faculty and the press, I'm being bombarded. I'm afraid it's just too much for me to bear.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But you know what? What's been the hardest part is feeling so powerless as all these young people have their lives cut short. Ikushima-kun being discovered dead, Ehara-san committing murder on video, and now poor Sawa-sensei's tragedy too. I can't help but feel in my heart that these incidents are related. That somewhere below the surface, all these misfortunes are connected to the same root.
I would have to agree.
Then I suppose it's only a matter of digging down deep enough. Though I couldn't begin to imagine how much soil would have to be turned to uproot it. But one thing, Yagami-san, if you would, could I ask that you continue to keep digging?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I ended up seeing a review of this about them talking about how the story in it is good, but it doesn't seem like it's as pressing as the one in the first one. And I'm like, yeah, I could kind of see what you mean by it. Seems like it's just slightly more lighthearted, at least in terms of dealing with the school and dealing with certain things, dealing with that a little bit and some of the side activities and whatnot, but only slightly, because the thing starts out dark and then it just gets darker as the main story wears on. So I guess it's really a balancing act, because that's the way like the Yakuza and obviously the Judgment side of things has been, is they always try to find this balance between serious storytelling and lighthearted storytelling, and sometimes they can mix up, you know, so it's like it's a bounce back and forth, and which I think is kind of unique. You'll have some funny stuff, you'll have some serious stuff, you'll have some dark stuff, you'll have some sad stuff, so it's kind of a unique balancing act that they try to do, that Sega tries to do with the Yakuza and the Judgment series in general.
Till you get to the bottom. Can you? Sawa-sensei deserves to have her chance at justice. A wonderful teacher like her. Why? She had her whole future to look forward to, the poor woman.
And now this happens. It's just not right.
As it stands, I still need to collect more evidence. So you know, I can't make any promises just yet. I could hit a dead end. But no matter what anyone does, no matter who tries to stop me, I'm gonna keep digging.
You're a saint. These past few days have felt like a never-ending nightmare. What a breath of fresh air. And I appreciate the good news.
Of course. I'm glad we could talk, Chairman.
And now, Sawa-sensei's old class is going to be my next worry. I'm sure you're well aware that that class has some students with a penchant for causing trouble. I fear that with her gone, we may need to prevent a relapse for those bullies you stopped.
Are you referring to Koda-san then? I understand. While I'm working on campus, I'll keep an eye on them.
You know, one of the things that I always found kind of interesting is when it comes with different languages of the world, because one of the things that our pastor was mentioning this past Sunday was also discussing the Tower of Babel, too, that fell in place with his sermon on how God had ended up confusing everybody's language because they wanted to basically act like they were going to usurp God in terms of building a tower that was supposed to reach all the way to heaven. And obviously, with God confusing their languages, they weren't able to communicate with one another, so it couldn't be done. So I just think it's kind of unique and interesting on how the way that the Japanese writing is and how their lettering is, or kanji as it's known as. I really wish I knew how to read stuff like that, or how they read it, or how they portray it. You know, it's just you see the alphabet from your angle, and obviously it will look completely different from their angle, and it's just kind of unique on how certain languages and whatnot are. Just like the way that it is with when had been watching Chernobyl to check that out, and how the Russian language is written as well. And you got the Japanese, let's just take our language and then Russian and then Japanese and put them all side by side, and they all look different. The only thing that really looks the same, I think, when it comes to dealing with the Russian side of things is that they have this symbol that looks like an N. I don't know what that is, but it looks like an N in our language. And they also have O's as well, but I don't know what that is in their language, but it looks like O's to us, or zeros to us. So it's just kind of unique on how the different writing is different, and obviously with the languages themselves sounding so different also. Oh crap. I realized there wasn't anything to be able to find around the place.
Your continued support is appreciated, Yagami-san. If there's anything at all I can do, please don't hesitate to ask. We must seek justice for Sawa-sensei.
This sounds like he's trying to sell me something on an infomercial. Man, I wonder how he can run in those shoes. I'm surprised he's even allowed to run in a school in general. It's different in Japan. You can run everywhere. But then again, it does make sense. You don't want to be walking the whole time down all these hallways. Always be in a uniform order. Dirty iron. Classroom 2-2. Classroom
Yagami-san. What do you want?
You know, things have been really weird around here ever since you showed up. First, they find Mikoshiba-sensei's body. Now Sawa-sensei winds up getting murdered. You the angel of death or something? Is that it?
I wouldn't blame you for thinking that.
Everyone's so damn gloomy. It sucks. Sawa-sensei was popular with all the boys. But her classes were super easy, and honestly pretty boring. You won't catch me moping around crying about it like all these losers. Ha ha! Hypocrites. You assholes were practically celebrating what happened to Mikoshiba-sensei.
Hey, we've heard enough out of you.
Yeah? Fuck off, you little twerp!
Go slap her.
What do you want, Coda?
She's standing up, why don't you just kick her in the twat?
Yagami-san, well, we're fine. There's a lot we don't understand, so we just feel a bit vulnerable right now. But, well, if you learn more about Sawa-sensei, could you please keep us in the loop too?
Oh, please, bitch! What's with this goody two-shoes bullshit?
Fucking chill, Akane. What's your problem?
Like I
She's on her period.
said before, I'm a detective, and I'm looking into Hiro Mikoshiba's murder. That's why I was talking.
Actually, she acts like she's on her period 24/7, considering she's supposed to be one of the mean girls, one of the bullies at the school.
Sawa-sensei. It's highly likely she got wrapped up in that case. So make no mistake, I'm going to find the truth about what happened to them both.
Kinda pointless. The internet's already branded Mikoshiba-sensei as the villain in all this. Everyone says he had it coming since he used to be a bully himself.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, if you're interested in hearing my report, just drop me a line. Maybe seeing my work might put things into perspective for you.
Detective my ass. Just get out of my face!
And yet you're the one walking away. With their glitchy skirts.
So, about Akane. She was really into Mikoshiba-sensei. They got along great, chatted all the time. Then all of a sudden, he just disappeared. She thought they had a connection, but turns out it was only one way. Now, she's always so pissed off. Keeps driving herself over the edge because she can't even reach the brakes. I'm not saying all this because I expect you to forgive us.
The fact that you recognize you did some awful things is a step in the right direction, at least.
I'm sorry, Coda. For everything we did to you.
Oh, dude, you need to get down on your knees and do the full bow down. That's showing humility in Japanese culture, from what I know. Just doing a deep bow ain't gonna handle it, knowing how you guys treated her. Like, a partial bow is a greeting. A deep bow like that is supposed to be really sorry or showing some type of sincerity. But on your knees shows humility and, like, deep regret for something that you've done. And that's exactly what he should be doing. Actually, that's what all of them should be doing.
You can't expect her to ever forgive you. If anything, expect that she never will.
I know.
That said, good job apologizing.
Thanks.
Let's pick that up and... Okay, yeah, that's going to take me out towards the main deal, then I'll look out for other side-related stuff. Run, run, now Forrest, run! Stop! Weird-Eye Yankovic's Gump instead of Lump from the Presidents of the U.S. guess. Hey! Go eat me something. Holler at you later. Alright, appreciate you coming in. I'll holler at you later. Take it easy. Do. This is what's really weird that I kind of don't really like about this one in the series is because they have these different areas where you can go and pick up intel, but you have to wait until the conversation ends with the characters for you to be able to see if there's any other like places you can go and side quests and all that other stuff, even though some pop up on their own, or and you know, especially throughout the story. So I guess that's something I'm also going to have to really look into, is just looking at all the different conversation spots, which are little yellow icon bubbles on the map, to see if anything else might pop up in the process. It's just a matter of waiting around having to see everything that's being said. I wish you could just kind of scroll through it after you finish reading it. Extracting the truth. I don't think I have any roses or anything. That's one of the things that I needed for that particular quest. But I seriously doubt that. Why is it that I can't go and just pick any disguises that I want to, man? I just think that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This has to deal with like Chinese food. That's what my dad used to say. He's like, you never see dogs or cats around a Chinese restaurant. And I guess this is probably evidence of that.
Hmm?
Because I think they got Chinese related food here in this district as well. Although I always like Japanese food better than Chinese food anyways, because of its overall freshness.
Huh? So, to sum it up, Yeah. Excuse me. By the way, I see.
Popularity. I love punny words. Popularity. That's great. So you gotta befriend the pussies to get some gifts. Dude. What, I bet this is taking place during the exact same time as Like a Dragon is. Because that was actually a battle that I had in Like a Dragon where there was some stupid monkey that was moving a freaking power shovel construction thing. Over in the park area, but that was happening at night. Well, I guess the time of the day didn't really matter in the game. That's really funny. Ugh.
A name, huh? Stay safe.
Well, folks, actually, I'm going to go ahead and end up ending the stream now. I'll be back again tonight. Probably streaming this again, more than likely. But, tomorrow, obviously, I won't be streaming anything since I have to get a car situation fixed. But tomorrow night, I'll definitely be streaming something. Yeah, I'm going to be streaming something tonight, probably this again. But anyways, I appreciate everybody coming out, checking out the live stream and the archive version and so on and so forth. And I will go ahead and I will end this like I always do. Later, taters.